Most people know Ryuichi Kihara as one of the finest pair skaters in the world. They remember the effortless lifts, the soaring throw jumps, the incredibly low death spirals, and the performances that earned standing ovations from crowds across the globe. Whenever his name comes up, the conversation almost always revolves around figure skating, medals, and technical excellence. But there is another side of Ryuichi that many fans have never really seen. Away from the ice, away from the pressure of competition, there is a man whose biggest passion is baseball. Long before cameras captured championship moments on Olympic and World Championship podiums, Ryuichi was the kind of person who could happily spend an entire afternoon sitting in the stands of a baseball stadium, watching every pitch with complete focus. That simple hobby may seem unrelated to figure skating, yet it quietly became one of the most revealing windows into the partnership he built with Riku Miura over 7 unforgettable years. In 2025, while living and training in Canada, Ryuichi and Riku shared 2 simple photographs on social media. One showed the outside of Toronto's Rogers Centre, while the other captured the atmosphere inside the stadium. The caption was incredibly short, mentioning only the 2025 World Series. There were no emotional speeches, no dramatic explanations, and no attempt to turn the moment into a headline. Yet fans immediately realized what those photos represented. For someone like Ryuichi, who had spent years living in the Toronto area while balancing the demanding schedule of an elite athlete, attending a World Series game at his home stadium was a dream opportunity. As viewers watched the championship unfold on television, many wondered if the pair might actually be there. When the photos appeared online, excitement spread almost instantly. Supporters celebrated not because another medal had been won, but because they were seeing 2 athletes enjoying a rare moment of ordinary happiness together. Only months later, in May 2026, another unforgettable baseball memory unfolded. This time it wasn't simply a visit to the stadium. Riku Miura and Ryuichi Kihara were invited to participate in the ceremonial first pitch before a Los Angeles Dodgers game. What happened next perfectly reflected everything fans had come to love about their partnership. Instead of walking to the mound in the traditional way, Ryuichi effortlessly lifted Riku into the air, holding her securely while she threw the ceremonial pitch. The crowd erupted with cheers. It was playful, unexpected, and unmistakably them. Social media quickly filled with comments from fans saying the moment was so perfectly Riku and Ryuichi. Others pointed out how genuinely joyful Ryuichi looked, smiling with the carefree excitement of someone who wasn't thinking about scores, judges, or competition. Photos with Japanese stars Yoshinobu Yamamoto and Roki Sasaki only added to the celebration, but what many people noticed most was Ryuichi's expression. It wasn't the emotional face of a world champion standing on a podium. It was the relaxed smile of someone simply sharing one of his favorite experiences with the person who had been beside him through everything. At first glance, none of this seems connected to figure skating. Baseball has nothing to do with throw jumps, synchronized spins, or lift technique. A day at the ballpark cannot improve edge quality or increase technical scores. So why spend so much time talking about baseball in a story about one of the greatest pair teams in the sport? Because sometimes the moments that appear completely unrelated to success are actually the foundation that makes success possible. Today is not really a story about baseball. It is a story about trust and about the countless ordinary moments that quietly shaped one of the strongest partnerships figure skating has ever seen. Throughout this series, we've explored stories about homemade meals, daily routines, and the simple habits that filled the years between competitions. We've talked about evenings spent cooking together and the countless drives to and from training. But today, we step even farther away from the rink. We leave behind the cold ice and enter places where there are no judges, no scoreboards, and no medals waiting at the end of the day. Those ordinary places may seem insignificant, yet they reveal something extraordinary about how Riku Miura and Ryuichi Kihara became much more than 2 athletes sharing the same career. Pair skating is unlike almost any other sport. Every movement depends on 2 people functioning as one. They train together, travel together, recover together, and compete together. Every lift requires complete confidence. Every throw jump demands perfect timing. Every element depends on absolute trust. If that trust begins to weaken, the audience can often sense it before the skaters even realize it themselves. On the other hand, when two partners genuinely believe in each other, every performance feels effortless. The emotional connection becomes just as visible as the technical execution. That is why life away from the rink matters so much. The strongest performances are rarely built only through hours of practice. They are strengthened through ordinary conversations, shared experiences, quiet routines, and countless moments that never appear on any official score sheet. Over the past 7 years, small pieces of that private world have occasionally surfaced. There were evenings spent playing video games together after exhausting training sessions. There were shopping trips that gradually turned into informal strategy meetings. There were visits to baseball stadiums, not because they were required, but because they wanted to be there. None of these moments had anything to do with figure skating itself. Yet perhaps they had everything to do with why their skating looked the way it did. Think about it for a moment. Where do people choose to spend time with someone when there is no obligation to be together? We often meet coworkers in offices because work requires it. We discuss projects over lunch because business demands it. But the places we choose when there is absolutely no professional reason to meet reveal something much deeper. You don't usually invite someone who has no interest in baseball to spend hours sitting beside you at a game. And if you do invite someone, it's because their company matters more than the event itself. The best relationships are often measured not by grand celebrations, but by the quiet comfort of sitting beside someone without feeling the need to fill every second with conversation. Ryuichi loved baseball. That much has never been a secret to those closest to him. Yet what makes these memories meaningful isn't simply that he attended games. It's that Riku was there with him. She wasn't there because it improved their skating. She wasn't there because it earned sponsorships or attracted media attention. She was simply there, sharing something that mattered to him. Sometimes that kind of presence says more than words ever could. Their journey in Canada began back in 2019, and from the very beginning, much of their daily life unfolded together. They trained alongside coaches and fellow athletes, and they had supportive people around them, but living in Oakville near Toronto meant being thousands of miles away from home. Japanese television wasn't part of everyday life anymore. Familiar convenience stores were gone. Family members remained on the other side of the world. Even casual conversations in their native language became far less common. In that unfamiliar environment, spending time together outside the rink wasn't simply convenient. It became natural. What may have started as a practical necessity slowly evolved into something much more meaningful. Ryuichi often drove Riku because transportation wasn't always easy. After exhausting practices, they cooked meals in the same kitchen. Those routines probably weren't planned. They simply happened because that was the life they shared. But over time, something subtle changed. What began as circumstance gradually became choice. They were no longer together because they had to be. They were together because they genuinely wanted to spend that time side by side, whether inside the rink or far beyond it. That quiet transition, from obligation to choice, may be the most important chapter in their entire story. Anyone can share a schedule. Teammates can travel on the same flights, practice in the same rink, and prepare for the same competitions simply because their profession demands it. But choosing to spend your free time together is something entirely different. Free time belongs to no coach, no federation, and no competition calendar. It belongs only to the people who decide how to spend it. Ryuichi could have enjoyed baseball games on his own. Riku could have spent her evenings doing something completely unrelated to skating. Instead, they repeatedly chose the same places, the same conversations, and the same experiences. Those choices slowly built a connection that no training program could ever teach. Riku once described that feeling in a remarkably simple way during an interview. She said that when she was with Ryuichi, she could simply be herself. It sounds like an ordinary sentence, but hidden inside those few words is one of the greatest compliments a person can ever give another. Think about everything she experienced after moving to Canada at just 17 years old. She left behind her family, her language, her familiar routines, and the comfort of home. She entered a country where every day required adjustment while carrying the enormous pressure of becoming one of the world's best athletes. In that environment, finding a place, or more importantly, a person, who allowed her to feel completely normal was incredibly valuable. That sense of normalcy wasn't found only during training sessions. It appeared in the quietest moments, like sitting together in the stands of a baseball stadium, watching innings pass without thinking about scores, rankings, or expectations. For a few hours, she wasn't an elite skater preparing for the next championship. She was simply a young woman enjoying an afternoon beside someone she trusted. Toronto offered more than baseball. During their years in Canada, another place quietly became part of their story: Little Canada, the attraction that recreates the country's most famous cities, mountains, waterfalls, and landmarks in stunning miniature detail. Visitors can admire tiny versions of Niagara Falls, the Rocky Mountains, and countless other destinations carefully built with incredible precision. It's the kind of place tourists visit while exploring the city. Elite athletes chasing world titles rarely make time for attractions like that in the middle of demanding training seasons. Yet Riku and Ryuichi did. Imagine the scene for a moment. Instead of standing under bright arena lights or rehearsing another lift, they were leaning over miniature landscapes, smiling at tiny trains, carefully crafted buildings, and scaled-down waterfalls. They weren't discussing technical panels or program components. They weren't rehearsing choreography. They were simply sharing a peaceful afternoon in a place that had absolutely nothing to do with figure skating. On paper, that visit contributed nothing toward winning championships. But emotionally, moments like that often become the invisible threads that hold a partnership together. Why Little Canada? Toronto offers countless famous attractions. They could have visited the CN Tower or spent an afternoon along the waterfront. Instead, they wandered through a miniature version of the country that had become their second home. Perhaps they wanted to look at Canada from a completely different perspective after spending years building their lives there. Or perhaps there was no deeper meaning at all. Maybe they simply thought it looked fun and decided to go. Ironically, that possibility may be even more meaningful. The ability to share spontaneous curiosity, to look at something and think, "Let's go see it together," is often one of the strongest signs of genuine companionship. It isn't about the destination. It's about wanting to experience it with the same person. This brings us back to the nature of pair skating itself. More than almost any other sport, pair skating is built on trust. Every lift places one athlete's safety entirely in the hands of another. When Riku rises several meters into the air, balancing on Ryuichi's arm with only fractions of a second separating success from disaster, absolute confidence becomes non-negotiable. That kind of trust cannot exist if it's based only on technical repetition. Thousands of successful practices certainly matter. Perfect timing matters. Physical strength matters. But somewhere beyond technique lies something deeper. Ryuichi once explained that technical trust and personal trust are not exactly the same thing, even though they eventually become inseparable on the ice. Technical trust grows through repetition. You practice the same lift thousands of times. You learn each other's rhythm, breathing, balance, and reactions until they become instinctive. That process creates consistency. Personal trust, however, follows a completely different path. It isn't built through drills or repetition. It grows while sitting side by side in places where no one is keeping score. It develops during quiet dinners, long car rides, evenings spent playing video games, afternoons at baseball stadiums, and simple outings like Little Canada. Those moments don't appear on competition protocols, yet they quietly strengthen everything that eventually does. When audiences watched Riku and Ryuichi deliver the performance that earned 158.13 points and secured another world title, they saw only a few breathtaking minutes on the ice. They witnessed flawless execution, synchronized movement, and incredible athletic ability. What they couldn't see were the thousands of invisible moments supporting every element. Hidden beneath every successful lift were conversations shared over dinner. Hidden beneath every perfectly timed throw jump were countless ordinary afternoons spent simply enjoying each other's company. The score reflected technical excellence, but behind that number stood years of ordinary life that never appeared on television. Looking back at the Dodgers' ceremonial first pitch in 2026, it's easy to understand why so many fans commented on Ryuichi's smile. They recognized something different. This wasn't the expression of an athlete carrying the weight of expectations. It wasn't the emotional release that follows winning a championship after years of sacrifice. Instead, it was lighter, freer. It was the smile of someone enjoying his favorite sport while standing beside the person who had shared nearly every chapter of his adult life. Riku looked just as relaxed. Suspended in one of Ryuichi's effortless lifts, she laughed while throwing the ceremonial pitch, creating a moment that perfectly blended their skating identity with a completely different world. There were no judges evaluating execution, no pressure to achieve a certain score, no medals waiting afterward. Yet somehow, that carefree moment revealed the same trust audiences had admired for years during their competitive performances. Watching those images, it's hard not to think about what remained after competitive skating no longer defined every day. Training schedules eventually change. Competitions come to an end. Rankings disappear into history books. Athletes retire, and the routines that once consumed every hour slowly fade away. The real question becomes this: when all of those external reasons disappear, what remains between two people who spent years pursuing the same dream? For Riku and Ryuichi, the answer seemed surprisingly simple. They still found themselves sitting beside each other in ordinary places. Whether inside a baseball stadium, exploring a city, or sharing another quiet afternoon, the companionship remained. The partnership had grown beyond competition itself. What started as a professional relationship had evolved into something rooted in everyday life, built not only through victories but through countless moments that no audience ever witnessed. And perhaps that is the greatest lesson hidden inside their story. Extraordinary performances may capture the world's attention, but they are often sustained by remarkably ordinary days, days filled with conversations, laughter, shared hobbies, and the simple decision to keep choosing the same person again and again, long after no one is watching.